everybody, and welcome back to our channel, Pretty Nerdy Adventures. My name is Taylor, and as always, on my left is my pretty nerdy partner, Michael. And if you couldn't already tell by our brand new setup, spooky season is officially in full effect. Now, it may finally be spooky season in these parts, but if you happen to catch our first video, then you're probably aware that spooky season has been in effect in Disneyland since the middle of August. And if you happen to miss that video, Michael and I specifically omitted most of the Halloween content we shot as we knew we'd be tackling it in later videos, i.e. this video. But we did have some fun and an interesting experience testing out the Disney Play app, so you should still go check it out if you haven't already. But this week, to celebrate the official start of the fall season and all things spooky, Michael and I headed down to Anaheim because we are going to be ranking every pumpkin-flavored item being offered at Disneyland and California Adventure for Halloween 2022. Over the past month or so, Disney has unveiled a slew of new seasonal treats throughout their Anaheim resorts. If my count is correct, in Disneyland and California Adventure alone, 65 new seasonal items have already been released, 43 of which are food items, 22 of which are drinks, and 13 of which are all pumpkin-flavored. So, as fans of this essential fall flavor, Michael and I decided this week we would begin to get our fill of the season and fill ourselves with some pumpkin. All of the pumpkin-flavored items at Disneyland and California Adventure, to be specific.
Hey everyone, we are back at Disneyland and Halloween season is officially in full swing. So we're here, we're going to try some of the new food offerings that they have, and along the way we're going to rank every pumpkin-flavored item that they're offering at Disneyland and California Adventure for Halloween 2022.
And don't be fooled, we're also still going to do some shopping along the way because why wouldn't we?
So do you have any expectations as far as our pumpkin-flavored items? Are there any things that you think are going to be like exponentially better than the others, or are there anything that you think are going to be completely awful?
Well, I will say, pumpkin is either really good or really bad in things. So I feel like there's going to be a lot of hits, but also a lot of misses.
I think as far as the flavor, I'm not super concerned. They tend to be really cinnamony for the most part, which I don't mind, but I think I'm more concerned about the texture of a lot of these items. So we're going to see. Come on.
As Taylor said before, between Disney and California Adventure alone, there are 13 pumpkin-flavored items being offered for the 2022 Halloween season. 4 of them are drinks, 2 of which are alcoholic, and the remaining 9 are food items, all of which are pastries. We spent the day trying every one of them so you don't have to, and along the way, we ranked them based on 3 key factors: taste, texture, and appearance, in order to determine which pumpkin-flavored items are worth the Halloween hype and which ones are so bad it's scary. But full disclosure, while we definitely recommend a number of the items we're about to discuss, we don't necessarily recommend trying every one of them in one day like we did. It was a serious sugar overload even for a candy addict like her, and we feel it might have had a slight effect on our taste buds by the end of the day. So while our final ranking will be mostly based off the scores we initially gave each item at the parks, we are reserving the right to come back at the end and reevaluate our scores with rested taste buds before we close ranks.
We headed into the parks fairly early that day, so as you could imagine, coffee was absolutely the first thing we had on our list. And we just so happened to be in luck, as Joffrey's Cappuccino cart over at Pacific Wharf had 3 of the pumpkin-flavored items on our list, 2 of which were coffee-based drinks. We placed a mobile order for these items, which we highly recommend as it gives you a set time to pick up your order and enables you to do other things with your time rather than wait in a line. And after our order was placed, we had about 30 minutes to do some Halloween shopping and even hop on the Incredicoaster. After 30 minutes well spent not standing in Joffrey's extremely long line, it was time to pick up the first 3 pumpkin-flavored items on our list. A pumpkin bundt cake filled with dulce de leche and cream cheese frosting, finished with a chocolate stem and mousse leaf, a pumpkin-spiced horchata cold brew, and a second pumpkin-spiced horchata cold brew, but this one with some Irish whiskey.
So I think the first thing I'm going to start with is the pumpkin spice horchata cold brew, because I need coffee. It's definitely sweet, but it's not bad.
Yeah, definitely heavier on the nutmeg and cinnamon vibes of it, but I don't hate it. So, taste, I'm going to give it an 8. Texture, it's a little powdery, seems a little powdery, so I'm going to give it like a 7. I go appearance, it looks like coffee. I mean 10 out of 10.
Okay, I have to warn you, I'm probably gonna be a lot harsher of a critic than Michael. So for taste, I feel like I'm gonna go with a 6. It does have a weird, like, powdery, like, texture to it when you drink it. So that's gonna get a 7 from me. And as far as appearance, I'm also gonna give that a 7. So we're moving on to the whiskey version of it. I'm really not expecting much of a difference, but I might rank it a little higher just because alcohol. Honestly, and I'm not just saying it because it's alcohol, the whiskey makes it exponentially better. I'm not usually a whiskey person, but I'm probably gonna finish that one. Michael can have the regular one. As far as taste, you know what? I'm gonna give that a 9. For texture, we're also much improved with the presence of the alcohol, so I will bump that up to an 8. And for appearance, we're still looking very bland, so that's gonna stay at a 7 for me.
All right, so you heard it here first from Taylor. Alcohol makes everything better. And she's not wrong. So, taste, I'm not an alcohol person, so I can take or leave the alcohol.
He does not imbibe often.
So I'm gonna keep it at an 8. Texture, got a little worse for me, so I'm gonna give it a 6. And then color, I mean, this is exactly the color of coffee that I would get because I like coffee with my cream. So I'm gonna give it a 10 again.
Okay, so now we're moving on to our final item, the pumpkin bundt cake. I don't know how I'm gonna have to Scooby-Doo this somehow into my mouth.
You mean take its mask off and show that it was Old Man Withers this whole time?
Old Man Withers? I thought it was Smithers.
I don't know what it is.
It's good. It's very good. The cake is very moist. It's got a good texture. I really like the cream cheese frosting situation, but I will say there is like an acidity to the cream cheese frosting that's a little overpowering. So I think for taste, I'm gonna have to give it like a 7. Texture's fine. I'm gonna give that a 9. And then for appearance, it is very cute. I'm gonna give that a 10.
Okay. It almost tastes lemony.
Right?
Yeah. I was hoping for more sweet. So taste-wise, I'm gonna give that one a 7 as well. But texture was good. Texture was soft cake. 10 out of 10 for texture. And then for appearance, also gets a 10 out of 10.
By the time we finished up with our first few pumpkin flavored items, it was time for us to race over to the Lamplight Lounge, the only place in both parks where you can get the seasonal pumpkin spice donuts served with orange cream cheese dip and hot buttered rum sauce. We had been unsuccessful at grabbing a reservation in the weeks leading up to our park reservation that day, and their walk-up line was about to open, which we were determined to get on. We got super lucky and were able to snag a reservation that would only be about a 20-minute wait, so we decided to check out the new Plaza de la Familia nearby in the meantime. And within practically no time, we were headed back to the Lamplight Lounge for some donuts. Yes, we did go to the Lamplight Lounge specifically to get the pumpkin donuts. However, we knew we were in for a day of sweet things, and in an attempt to counterbalance that, we scarfed down some lobster nachos before ordering the donuts.
Okay, so now let's try it with sauce and see if that improves it at all. I feel like the orange is very overpowering in the cheese sauce. Like, you wouldn't know it's cheese. You'd mostly just think it's like a creamy orange sauce. I think the butter sauce is better than the cheese sauce in my opinion. It doesn't overpower the donut. It does elevate the flavor of the donut a little more in my opinion. So I would go with the butter sauce if I was gonna pick either. So score-wise on taste, I'm gonna give it an 8. It's not bad. You know, I'm gonna give it a 7. The orange sauce knocks it down a point. I'm gonna give it a 7. For texture, I'll give that an 8. Appearance, I will give it a 10 for appearance because I mean, like, look at this packaging. It's so adorable. The donuts are really, like, uniform in shape and stuff. It is very appealing looking. And plus, are you gonna beat this too?
I'll try it with the cheese first. The only reason orange goes with pumpkin is because it's the color of pumpkins. Flavor-wise, it's gonna be a no for me. Hopefully the butter's better. Okay, the butter's okay. I feel like it's just gonna be better on its own. Yeah, I was right. So I'm gonna give taste. I'm gonna give that a 9. Delicious. I'm gonna give texture a 10. Soft and fluffy, can't go wrong. And then for appearance, 10 out of 10. I mean, like we said, they look fantastic.
We needed a bit of a break from food after this, so we took some time to ride a couple of rides, as well as check out the seasonal decor throughout the park.
And I finally got to meet a Disney cat!
She finally got to meet a Disney cat. But then it was time to try our last 2 pumpkin-flavored items in DCA before heading into Disneyland. A churro rolled in pumpkin spice sugar and drizzled in cream cheese icing from Buena Vista Churro Cart, and the pumpkin pie hard float made with hard pumpkin chai cider, vanilla ice cream, and a spiced pie crust cookie from Clarabelle's hand-scooped ice cream.
It's a lot more tart than I was expecting. I don't know, I just don't really like the apple flavor personally, but if you like apple cider, I'm sure you'd love this. It's actually not bad. And I'm gonna taste this little cookie thing. Okay, the crust is good. So, for the hard cider, I'm gonna go 6 on taste. I'll go 9 on texture. I think the ice cream adds like a nice cold creaminess to it. And then appearance / color, I'm gonna give it an 8. I would have given it a 9, but the fact that it's super messy and drips all over you, point deducted.
Alright, so I'm gonna try the cookie first.
Oh, we're going cookie first, okay. I didn't want it to affect my taste of the drink, but maybe this is the strategy. Maybe it makes the drink better. Right, you're confused.
Taste, I'm gonna give it a 4.
Oh wow.
Not good. Texture, I like the creaminess, so I'm gonna give it a 7. And appearance, it looks great. I'll give it a 9.
All right. Now we're gonna move on to the churro. I'm sorry about the train whistle, by the way. We didn't realize that it was gonna be a constant thing when we chose our lovely dining windowsill. Okay. Definitely sweeter than I was expecting for sure. I don't know if I like I like the sauce and I like the churro separately, but I don't know if I like them together necessarily. I think it's maybe a little much. It made it too sweet for me personally. Flavor, I'm gonna give it a 7. Texture, we're getting a point deducted because it gets a little soggy after a while, so I'm gonna say 8. And then appearance, there's nothing wrong with it. It looks fun. It's not anything crazy. I'm gonna say 8.
The churros are always good. Taste, I give it a 9. Texture, it's a churro. I love churros. I give that a 9 as well. And then appearance, they drizzled it really nicely, so I'm gonna give it a 10.
Similarly to DCA, once in Disneyland, our first mission was coffee. Though this time we had our sights set on the pumpkin cold brew over at Red Rose Tavern, a cold brew flavored with pumpkin, vanilla, and spices, topped with whipped cream.
Ooh. Mixing and messing. Very heavy on the cinnamon. I think this is probably my least favorite thing that we've tried today, if I think about it. I think I just expected more from this, which is why I'm disappointed. Taste-wise, it gets a 5. Texture, normal coffee texture. It's gonna get a 9, nothing crazy. And then appearance, I'll give it a 10 for appearance. It was very, very beautiful looking.
Usually when Taylor says it's too sweet, I end up liking it a lot because I like sweet things.
That's why you like me, right?
Mm-hmm. Whoa, a lot of cinnamon. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of it. And I usually like sweet things, so this is different. Taste-wise, it's like, it's like a 6 or 7. I'll put it as a 6.5. Texture, didn't really like the texture. It was like a 7. And but appearance, 10 out of 10. It looked fantastic. I was so excited going into it, and now just disappointment.
And with the pumpkin cold brew checked off our list, and the large crowd in Fantasyland becoming a bit overwhelming, we opted to grab our next item, the pumpkin pie dip from Fantasyland Churro Cart, to go, and headed to Galaxy's Edge, where it was slightly less crowded and we could snag some shade to seek refuge in.
It does taste like pumpkin pie, I will say. At first, very, very good. Then it got a little weird, and then it got good again. Taste-wise, I'm gonna say 6. No, I'm gonna give it a 7. Texture, definitely better than the other one. I'm gonna give it an 8. An appearance, it's pretty plain. It's just like a little, there's no appearance here. I'm gonna give that a 4. Good.
Yeah.
And weird.
Yeah.
And then good again.
Yeah. It's a weird situation. So taste-wise, I'm gonna give it like a 7. Texture, I'll give it an 8. Appearance-wise, you can't go wrong. This, whatever. Okay, fine. It's not the best. Compared to everything else, it's like a 6.
The next item on our list was the seasonal pumpkin spice dusted funnel cake from the Stage Door Cafe in Frontierland. This funnel cake comes loaded with a spiced caramel drizzle, toffee bits, whipped cream, chocolate curls, and is absolutely massive, we might add.
That was good. I'm here for this one. I'm gonna give this one a 9. 9 on flavor. So texture, it's gonna get, it's like funnel cake texture. I'm gonna say, yeah, also a 9. And appearance, this is a 10.
Phenomenal. I'm generous, so taste is gonna get a 10. And texture, it's a 10. And appearance is a 10. For me, it's a 10 across the boards.
After we finished indulging in the funnel cake for a bit, we decided to mobile order the remaining items on our list and even discovered another pumpkin item that hadn't been listed in the food guide we researched prior. We needed a bit of a break at this point, so we scheduled our mobile orders for slightly later into the evening and took some time to shop, check out more Halloween goings on, and even ride the Nightmare Before Christmas Halloween overlay at the Haunted Mansion. Finally, having walked off some of the calories we packed on earlier in the day, Michael headed to the Jolly Holiday Bakery Cafe to pick up our mobile order, which included a pumpkin cheesecake decorated with chocolate spiderweb and spiced chantilly, as well as our surprise item, a pumpkin muffin, while I waited in line at the Plaza Inn for Disney's classic pumpkin pie with spiced chantilly. The Plaza Inn is another sit-down restaurant on the Disney property, so unfortunately there are no mobile orders here, but honestly I walked right up and was out in only a few minutes.
I'm very happy with this. I think I like this better than the funnel cake. I'm gonna do it. No, I can't. I'm gonna give it a 9. Texture, it is very moist, very good. It does have a little bit of that muffin crust on the outside. I'm gonna also give that a 9. Give it a 4 on appearance, but really good.
Oh, it's gonna be a 10 on flavor for me. I'm gonna go texture as a 10 out of 10 too, but it is just in a container. So I'm gonna go with an 8 out of 10.
I've never been so disappointed by a cheesecake. I'm gonna give it, if I want to be mean, I'm gonna give it a 5, but I'll be nice, I'm gonna give it a 6. Texture is good. It has the texture of a cheesecake that I would expect. Maybe a little on the soft end, so I'll give it an 8. And appearance, it is cool. It is nice looking, but also I don't understand why we covered up the spider web, what the point of that was, if we're just not gonna see it anyway. I'm gonna give that a 7.
It's a little chalky near the end. Taste-wise, I'm gonna give that a 5. Texture, give that like a 6. And then presentation, I'm gonna give that one an 8.
It is better than the pumpkin pie dip, in my opinion. Taste, I'll give it an 8. It was really the crust that just needed a little more oomph. Texture, also an 8. And appearance, it's really cute. I'm gonna give it a 9. It's a little, who doesn't like a mini pie?
I really like it. This one, taste-wise, I'd give it like a 6. Texture-wise, it was a little thick on the crust, but I'm gonna be nice, I'm gonna give it a 7. Appearance, it's adorable, I'm gonna give it a 9.
I definitely need something salty like popcorn.
With our taste buds feeling a bit of a reprieve from the saltiness of the popcorn, and our last mobile order ready for pickup over at the Mint Julebar, we snagged our pumpkin-spiced Mickey-shaped beignets rolled in pumpkin-spiced sugar, and sat down for our final tasting of the day.
It tastes like a cinnamon Entenmann's donut. I really like the texture a lot. I think the texture is gonna get a 10 for me. Flavor, I'm gonna give a 7. And then appearance, I'm sorry, is this not gonna get a 10?
Taste, I give it an 8 as well. And I'm gonna go 10s for the rest. Anything Mickey shaped is gonna be a 10 out of 10.
And with that, we made it through every pumpkin flavored item at Disneyland and California Adventure in one day, and this is where each item ranked after scoring them on a scale of 1 to 10 across 3 key factors.
Now, after some thought, consideration, and well-rested taste buds, we see we may have been unfair to some items that really stood out to us, as well as overly nice to some items that may have been a little less than deserving. So we're going to take a moment to reevaluate our ranking, shuffle a few things around, and then officially close our ranks of every pumpkin-flavored item being offered at Disneyland for Halloween 2022. Not better than the one with the Irish whiskey. Honestly, the best
Best
drink
beverage
that we
deserves to be
had
top 5.
tasted.
Definitely go my regular cold brew over classic pumpkin pie for sure.
Okay, I can see that. I accept that.
Yeah.
And there you have it. The official Pretty Nerdy Adventures ranking of every pumpkin-flavored item at Disney for 2022. Some things surprised us, like the unassuming surprise pumpkin muffin, as well as the sadly disappointing pumpkin cheesecake. But nothing we tried was absolutely repulsive, and there were even some items I'd definitely go back for again. I'm talking about you, pumpkin-spiced horchata cold brew with Irish whiskey.
By the end of the day, there were some items we were probably a little harsh on, but you would be too if you were as pumpkined out as we were. A lot of the items, if you're in the mood for them, will definitely suffice, and some of them are just too good to pass up. If you think that pumpkin muffin isn't going to be a fall breakfast staple for us, then you're out of your mind.
And with our ranks closed and our sweet tooths more than satisfied, before heading home to the King and Queen, we took a few moments in the park to appreciate all of the Halloween decorations at night, as well as ride the Halloween overlay of Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout: Monsters After Dark to close out this adventure. Thank you so much for joining us this week. Next week, we'll be visiting our friend Nick over at Bands for Arms to trade in some Funko Pops. So for more Pretty Nerdy Adventures, make sure you subscribe to our channel and click that little bell to turn on notifications. And as always, part of the journey is the end. But we'll be back next week for another Pretty Nerdy Adventure.